Both teams have been in Perth for a few days now, 3 days each, so they've had a bit of experience out here at RAC Arena, been able to train at a few local courts as well, but most of the teams have spent most of their preparation here, getting used to the conditions.
Gee, I like that play, David. He really attacked that second serve. And, you know, without matches, Jose mentioned it, you know, that was his inference. That, yes, he's been practicing well, but we need matches. And when you go into the first one in a new year, you haven't had a lot under your belt, it can take a while to find your feet. And Shevchenko, they're doing the right thing, trying to put the Spaniard on the back foot early in this match. He's got himself 2 break points here.
Too good. And Shevchenko gets Team Kazakhstan off to the best start. Break serve in the opening game.
Gee, there was some good science there for Shevchenko. He hit the right shot at the right time a couple of times in this game and persevered with that inside-in forehand there and found the gap in the end. He had Carreno Busta on the defensive for most of that game. Good start.
Some nice variety as well. Mark Philippoussis, the 2-time Grand Slam finalist, is courtside for us and sitting in the sunshine there, Mark. Perfect conditions here, and that's a good start from Shevchenko.
Yeah, good morning, boys. It really is. The conditions are incredible out here. There's no wind at all. It says it's 23 degrees, but definitely higher than that as far as court conditions and temperature. But that was what a great start with Alexander there, just being more aggressive in that first game. It's understandable that both guys got to be nervous, especially Pablo not playing too many matches with his injury. And that first service game is always a tough one, but Alexander really stepping up and taking advantage of that first game and really being aggressive out there with his shots.
So as you would expect, given the experience, the pre-match win predictor 66%. It's probably closer to 50-50 for mine when you look at what they've achieved towards the back end of the year. I love arguing with win predictor.
Me too.
By the way, I'll take him on, or her, it, every time.
You've got that argumentative body language,
yeah.
Dave.
Well, I'm ready for the contest. Anyway, that's what it's there for, win predictor. You have your own determination at home.
Look, I don't want to agree with you too often, but I certainly do there. I think
I've just written that down. Fitzy won.
Okay, 3 faults to start the first service game's not good, though. He needs to get it right now. So he's opened up the court a few times, hitting to Carreno Busta's forehand. drawing the defensive slice forehand reply from the Spaniard. So Del Nor there in the chair saying that the time clock, the countdown clock is not working currently. But he has a rendition of it in his umpire's chair. He can tell when the clock's winding down, and the players can't see it as of this moment.
It's interesting that the countdown clock would become so used to it, and the conditions here are the same. There's no line judges, live electronic line calling, so no challenges, etc. But particularly when we get to the Australian Open and the Grand Slams, where the matches are so drawn out and a lot of players taking the full time, rather than, as we're seeing now, when you don't know what the time is, you feel like the pace of play quickens up a fraction because you're not looking for the time.
Well, I've got a bit of that body language going too early in the season. I'm not the biggest fan of the shot clock. Yeah, mistake there, giving Pablo an opportunity to run at that forehand and put it away. Gee, you've got to get that drop shot perfectly correct if you're going to go with this. That's dangerous. I think the shot clock encourages them to take more time. But it's part of the DNA now and tough to change.
So we start off with 2 breaks of serve.
And I would say that maybe the win predictor might be a bit closer than we thought after that game. That was a poor game, wasn't it, from Alexander? After breaking in the opening stanza, he just served poorly there and didn't have anywhere near the positivity he had in the first return game he played.
Just interested in the pressure for Shevchenko when you've got a really good player like Rabakina. You've been in the situation playing a lot of team tennis, Davis Cup, and the Davis Cup captain. There's an opportunity when you're the younger and less favoured player of a duo, but it has a bit of pressure on the shoulders as well. When you know you've got an absolute superstar sitting on your bench.
Pat Cash was a good man to have in your foursome in a Davis Cup team. But it's a fivesome these days. There's 5 players. He doesn't look as competent overhead, Mark, does he, as he does from off the ground, Shevchenko?
No, Fitzy, I was actually just about to say something. One thing I noticed on the serve that he does is 2 things. Is the ball toss is so far out in front. Nothing bad for the first serve, but the second serve, he's unable to get underneath it, get that kick on it. And the smash, the way he puts his hand back, he kind of makes contact behind his head. Kind of a little uncomfortable, that smash looked.
Had such a risky shot. Relatively new balls, and the hard court has to be perfect. Shevchenko was a fair way back, but he had enough time to deal with that one comfortably.
30-15.
I know that these guys are still feeling each other out, especially the first match, but the first few games, but they are seeing the ball well and hitting the ball cleanly. And of course, first unforced error at the net after. I just jinxed these poor guys.
Well, yeah, it was a fair call though, Mark. You don't see Carreno Busta miss that straightforward backhand very often in his career. That's, and you could see his reaction too. He was disgusted with himself. Well, I think the mindset of Shevchenko here looks like he's going to try to attack the Carreno Busta second serve. He did it well in the opening game to help him break, but this time he goes after a bit of an awkward backhand, tries to press with the return, makes the error. Don't mind the mindset though.
So Carreno Busta holds serve. First time the server's been able to prevail. And Team Spain lead 2-1. So it's a confidence booster for Carreno Busta holding after dropping the first serve.
Ожидаешь каких-то подарков. Если он ошибся с одного, ты принял, он слева ошибся, это подарок фактически. Окей, это бонус, но все равно через работу. И нормально играешь, все нормально, никакой драмы нету.
Con la intención, sabiendo el shot, tengo que hacerlo, tío, que falle alguno, tío, porque es que si no, no voy a ir de acuerdo. Encima te está costando ir a por ella, si la estás cruzando, ahí le llega un poquito más puesta. Apriétalo un poco después, por el tobillo. Ahora cuando sales el doble, lo he hecho el doble, vamos a probar también, ¿vale? Pues he hecho el doble, me quedo.
We can see here Elena Rybakina on the practice courts warming up. She'll be up next against Jessica Buzes-Monero. What a storyline this is, partnering with Goran Ivanisevic, the former Wimbledon champion, of course, who's also been working with Novak Djokovic for some time. She won Brisbane 12 months ago, so a change up in her Australian Open preparations, this time choosing the United Cup as the place that prepares her best. This is her debut at this tournament. Won 3 titles from 5 finals last year. Especially that first 6 months of the season was quite something. The world number 6 is up next, but a couple of trades of break early on. It's Team Spain 2-1 against Team Kazakhstan.
I actually like the aha, by the way. I like the music that DJ get us up and about with, particularly if it comes straight from the 80s or 90s, which was when we were in our prime, Fitzy.
Gee, I'm just trying to get that image of you with your dance moves out of my head.
It's New Year's Eve in a couple of nights' time.
I've seen Mark Philippoussis come up with a few. He knows how to move on a dance floor.
With the right motivation, Fitzy, you next to me, it's all I need. And a shot of Uzo.
starting to find his feet a little bit here, Carreno Busta. And Shevchenko hasn't really played a bad 2 points here, but he needs to play a very good game and hold here. You would imagine it would set the tone for this first set if he doesn't. Very competent drop volley. Just summed up the situation beautifully with that chip. He was going to drop it, you would think, for a second, and then realise that the deep slice down the line was the play. And they're discussing it there as we speak. That second serve looks a little bit dodgy early in this encounter. Bit of a worry.
Yeah, Fitzy, there's no arch on it. There's, you know, you can't get underneath the ball. The ball tossed so far in front.
He's still got 2 to defend here after dropping his opening service game, and captain Alexander Shevchenkov looking a little anxious. Team Kazakhstan bench. And the break again, and now a 3-1 lead with the advantage of the break for Team Spain.
Yeah, there was some power there starting to come from the racket of Carreno Busta, and he pinned Shevchenko down there in the back end of that game and caused a few mishits because of it, and therefore the ball dropped shorter for him.
Conditions are good for us in the box. I think Philippoussis now has the umbrella out and the towel just to make sure that he's protective. There he is. Have a look. How cool do you look there, Mark?
I've got the bucket of ice coming too. I'll tell you what, you guys with the sensitive skin would not last a minute out here, especially you, Fitzy.
I'm surprised you've got a shirt on and you just haven't got the recoil and lathered up.
15 love.
You know, it's amazing after that first service game that you lost. You'd imagine he'd get a little uptight, but Pablo seemed to have relaxed after that first service game. He just got out of his system and he's looking more and more comfortable and confident. And Alexander's gone the opposite way, and he's standing even further back during the points. He's getting further and further back, which is not helping him.
He started off really close to the baseline and wanting to be super aggressive, but retreating even back a little further.
Oh, good point. Yes, he's starting to look like the Carreno Busta of old in this period of the match. He's really finding his range.
He generates some power, doesn't he, off that forehand? It's a sort of a short, punchy stroke, but the ball comes off the middle of the racket with some ferocity.
Well, I think for a long time the Spanish game predominantly has been based around generating their own power. You know, when they have time to get into position, as he did with a couple of those forehands prior to this part of the point. He generated his own power beautifully. Just enabled him to move forward and put away an easy volley.
He spoke yesterday, Carreno Busta, about the changing of the guard in Spanish tennis. No Rafa this year, of course, and Carlos Alcaraz already doing his own thing, winning 2 Grand Slam titles last year. He was very close to Rafa and loved having him around, but his hero was David Ferrer, the human metronome, who used to cause his own puddles on the court. He loved watching him.
I think he liked Federer a bit too. Isn't that interesting?
Can you find someone that doesn't like Roger?
It's-
Can you let me know who they are and I'll write a letter to them?
It's almost annoying, isn't it? He's perfect.
Yeah,
Gee, he's
that's a
finding
good
his
button.
range
Yeah.
here.
And Team Spain.
So easy service hold and 4-1 now for Team Spain.
leads 4-1.
That was impressive. On land, John Fitzgerald.
Would you go for the camel with one hump or two humps if you rode up the beach at Cable Beach there?
Yeah, I've never done that. Have you? Cable
No.
Beach?
No,
Need to
haven't.
go.
How much? I'm sorry, you can see kilometers.
So a couple of breaks of serve to start. And Alexander Shevchenko is under a little bit of pressure here because he's yet to hold his serve as Team Spain are out to a 4-1 lead in this opening set. 23 minutes in. So now the pressure builds on the shoulders of the 24-year-old as he sees what he can do here to hold serve.
See, Carreno Busta there really had a crack at that first serve return. So his confidence, even though he missed that, his confidence has grown quite substantially in the last 4 games, hasn't it?
We talked at the outset, they have had that one encounter last year in Salem. US hardcourt tournament, 6-2, 6-2 in favour of the Spaniard. So recent encounter, fresh in the mind.
Well, that's what he's been missing. A little bit of help from a free point here and there.
15.
And that certainly goes a long way to helping you hold your serve if you can create a few of these easy ones. See what Mark's talking about, that ball toss way out there.
I mean, Pablo getting a little lucky with that leg call, but it's almost like Pablo's baiting Alexander to hit down the line in that backhand because he wants him to open up that court. You know, when that forehand, like you said, guys, he's just seeing the ball so well and he's got so much confidence right now, especially on that forehand side where he's just letting go, you know, it feels like at any time he wants. And he's hitting the ball incredibly clean, which is very impressive considering he hasn't played a lot of matches.
Well, made a very tough volley look easy there, Shevchenko. He's
40-13.
He's decided to move in a bit more, hasn't he? He's trying to find openings to get to the net, to finish points a different way. He feels probably like he's not going to win from the back of the court against the Spaniard. That was one heck of a volley.
So Shevchenko holds serve for the first time. Team Spain still with the break, 4-2.
Leads 4 games to 2.
Spent his off-season back at home. Pablo Carreno Busta, loved being around the family and friends, and I asked him, Fitzy, about, you know, at 33 you've achieved so much, why, when you've had so many issues with injuries, why continue? He said, well, I don't think I'm done yet. I know that I've been to close to the peak, into the top 10, couple of semi-finals at a Grand Slam, but I think I've got a little more to give, and I'm prepared to keep giving to see where that takes me.
Hey, if he was going to stay ranked 200 in the world, then you'd probably ask that question with a bit more conviction, wouldn't you? But hey, you're retired a long time. We all know that. And it's a tough thing to let go of. It's a beautiful way to earn a living. We're privileged to do it, and he's good at it. And he's no 200 player in the world, this guy, is he? He knows that even at this level, you can tell he's way, way above that. But to get back to that top 10, the best he ever was, that's not an easy thing for a guy who's significantly into his 30s now. So you may have to be content on not maybe being as good as you were, but nevertheless, you can still be awfully good again.
Penalty 15.
Oh, good movement from both players there. Shevchenko did a good job to read where Carreno Busta was headed.
Yeah, to go to that open court with that volley, he had to pump that volley hard. He just didn't put enough on it. It's always dangerous giving someone a forehand to run at.
So Pablo Carreno Busta, he's in command here at 5-2.
Team is being leads 5 games to 2. Ball change, please.
El cambio de antes, el primer punto, si os saque lento a tu derecha, el resto para fuera un poco de más, ¿vale? Porque ha sido el único punto que sobraba. Ahora no puede sobrar, ¿eh? Ahora no jugamos.
Goran Ivanisevic there's in the team camp of Elena Rybakina for 2025. Off a training camp in Dubai, just getting to know each other and the way each other operates. It's going to be an interesting partnership that will unfold throughout 2025. Pablo Carreno Busta returning to the court after injury interrupted 2023 and 2024. Has got off to a fast start here for Team Spain. Early breaks of serve, survived his own break of serve in his opening service game. Leads 5-2.
Portería grande, con calidad, vamos.
Well, he's so much like so many of the modern players, isn't he? When you get that forehand to hit, he goes after it, Shevchenko, and so he should. Particularly seems to like the one inside in across court there. Yeah, same again.
Guys, I think this is going to be a very important game. The great thing, what I just saw, like you said, Fitzy, is Alexander stepped into those two forehands, and he's not hanging around too much behind the baseline after that serve. He's staying relatively close to that service of that baseline, giving him the opportunity to step in, which he has done these 2 points.
Net for service.
And that should be his mindset, being obviously the first thing for him to do is hold serve and give himself an opportunity to try and break and stay in this first set. But if you can hold serve comfortably with some big hitting and put some pressure on a couple of the first points of the next service game, could get interesting.
Well, I usually like this approach, but it was probably the one, he had so much time there, Pablo. He had the drop shot option. He had the other forehand direction option, and he went for the conventional one and away and came in, and Shevchenko had read it nicely. Well, if you were playing against Alex, I think you would want to have that mindset too, to attack his second serve. He's shown signs that it's not his most confident shot, and if you can put pressure on it when the time arrives on a big point, you never know what bonus he might give you. And therein lies an example. I mean, he attacked the ball before Pablo Carreno Busta. He hit a clean winner off a second serve, and then Shevchenko goes for more on the following second serve and comes up with an error. Perfect strategy, really, from the Spanishman, from the Spanish.
Shevchenko was under enormous duress there, getting the windscreen wiper treatment. He was running from one side of the court to the other, and then Carreno Busta went for the drop shot again, and
he played it from when it was really low too, David, and that gave Shevchenko more time to get up to this one.
It's the only time he was in the point.
News. Team Spain.
Brings up the break point, set point for Team Spain. It goes wide, and Pablo Carreno Busta gets Team Spain off to a fast start here, taking the opening set 6-2, just 39 minutes.
6-2.
Yeah, Mark, if you ask me what nationality had the most miles in their legs, they'd be right at the forefront of your thinking, I would imagine, the Spaniards. They've done so much work. This man has put in so many miles over the journey. You know that it's not far away, that peak fitness. Foundation is better than most.
Growing in confidence too as this match progresses. See how much more aggressive he's becoming.
(30-15).
This is where it's so important. You win the first set 6-2. It's so easy to drop that intensity, and it's important to have a good start here, to hold serve and keep the momentum going. Safa's doing a really great job at that.
When he starts imposing a bit more power in that ground stroke, he gives Shevchenko less time. It causes the miss hit. Then the ball drops short. And that's what Carreno Busta is looking for. Such a solid player.
Team Spain.
A holding serve, opening game of the second
First
set.
game, second set.
Вся игра через розыгрыш. Okay, come on.
At the moment, it just looks like Carreno Busta's got too much game. Alexander. You know, he's shown flashes, hasn't he, of brilliance. But that can be the difference between the top echelon of players in this sport and the ones that are really, really good. You can maintain that level for longer, and you've just got all of those shots at your disposal, and you can produce them consistently.
15 love.
And when you look at Shevchenko's results, his best results last year, 4 quarterfinals. You get to that point, and then it's hard to move into the next semi-finals and finals of that level of tournament.
Well, the tournaments on the ATP and WTA, I mean, they're difficult to win. You know, you can win 4 matches in 1 week and leave as a loser. You know, that's a problem for resilience. You know, you need to produce it, David, don't you? And even for a player of the level of Carreno Busta, he's won 7 tournaments at the ATP Tour level in his life. That is, for me, just quite mind-boggling. He seems, well, he is one heck of a player. He's been in the top 10, and he's consistent all the time, but they're tough to win. And they're tough to get past the quarterfinals, Shevchenko can tell you.
Game Team Kazakhstan.
Well, that was a confidence booster compared to his service games throughout the majority of the first set.
You know, just sitting here watching that service game, it was 4 first serves in, and it's incredible the difference you see as far as him, the way he's setting up the point. He's aggressive, being aggressive. His body language is completely different, more positive, sitting up way more up the court. When he misses that first serve, though, it's like he almost gets in a negative mindset straight away, and he kind of just rolls it in and runs backwards. So that was a huge confidence boost. Great game.
Love.
I think, Fitzy, you touched on this too. I mean, you know, Alexander hits the ball well, but during those rallies, his ground strokes look beautiful, hits the ball well, but it's not doing any damage to Pablo. It's not making him uncomfortable. He's just hanging in there, hitting all the, you know, cross court that he needs to do. Just like to see Pablo now, Alexander, you know, it's one game all, try something different, maybe step in on the second serve, maybe stay back a little bit further and hit a high one and try and get into the baseline a little further in to try take advantage for a short ball. I don't know, but it's an opportunity right now to try something to make Pablo uncomfortable.
40 love.
Put away, he can do it, but it's being aggressive enough, I guess, during the rally, as Mark said. You know, his normal ball is not worrying Carreno Busta enough. He needs to press a bit more, but therein lies the danger of making an error if you continue to press too much.
Team Spain leads 2 games to 1.
So on serve in his second set, and you contrast what Shevchenko is able to do during the rallies with this, particularly the forehand from Carreno Busta. An open court down the line, no problem, but just in general play, he's able to play a heavy ball that has got Shevchenko always on the defence rather than the attack. I also asked Pablo what he likes to eat. That he can't eat, and he said no. He's a fitness fanatic. He likes to eat bananas. He doesn't like to, he wants pizza, chocolate, all of those bad things that you and I survive on. He's not interested in. He just likes bananas, and that's what he's going to continue to consume. So when he sits there and eats that banana, he loves it.
So the day session well underway. This is the lineup for the night session. Team China against Team Brazil. Zhang Zhizhen, the world number 45, taking on Thiago Monteiro of Team Brazil. And in the women's matches, it's the quarterfinalists from the US Open. Beatrice Haddad-Meyer taking on Gao Xin-Yu of Team China. So that's all to come this evening in Perth. Night one session as day one of the United Cup continues for 2025.
And then Carreno Busta locks in, doesn't he? You can see, I mean, rarely does he miss that two-hander.
Hmm. 15-all.
Can't believe he gave away a free point. So miserly.
$15-30. $15-14.
Well, Shevchenko wasn't convinced that the line call was right here. He felt like the technology might have missed this one, but you can't argue with it, can you? And I've got to admit, through the air, it looked like it might go wide, but it must have caught just on the outside edge there.
He was right there, but it's in. And there you go.
Yeah.
30,
you can see Alex point his finger as if to say that one was out, but no. Saves one break point there.
So the break comes for the first time in the second set. Team Spain 3-1.
3 games, 2-1.
Yeah, well, a good return of serve that just made Shevchenko make a wrong decision. I mean, he got rushed on that back end. The return was great. It was deep and it was coming in fast, and he just didn't have enough time to think. He went for the low percentage shot down the line and drew the error.
Well, we've sent Mark Philippoussis down into the Team Kazakhstan bench to get some insights into play. We'll hear from him throughout this next service game of Pablo Carreno Busta.
Net for service.
Let's get down to Mark in the team bench for Team Kazakhstan.
So, obviously a little bit of a nervous start here. I mean, Alexander's having a tough job. Pablo's hitting the ball really well. What do you feel like he needs to do to try and get back into this match?
I don't know. I heard that he has some problem serving, so I think like it's already a break in the second set. It's a bit tough, but I mean, there's still a chance to come back. I mean, obviously, Carreno, he's playing very well today, and I mean, start to be more solid on the serve and then try to break.
As you said, he's having issues on the serve. Is anything physically he's having issues with, or is more of the confidence right now in the service games?
More confidence.
Okay. Well, anyway, good luck. We've still got a while to go, and good luck for the rest of the matches.
Brilliant whisperer is Mark Philippoussis. He's almost in Carreno Busta's pocket. Oh, it's just wide and long. Zhibek Kulambayeva there. Second of the singles players for Team Kazakhstan. A great experience for those players in the team with Yelena Rybakina, who will be out the back preparing. Maybe not too far away the way Carreno Busta's going.
Game, Team Spain.
Consolidates the break of serve there, and Team Spain 4-1 now in the second set.
4 games to 1.
Muy bien los abiertos en el lado de la ventaja. El 15-30 creo que
No, you were great, Mark. Fantastic whisperer.
I thought it was Whispering Jack.
No,
it was fantastic.
Yeah, no one has got any idea if you're listening from anywhere else around the world. John Farnham, that was his nickname. Great Australian singer.
15.
You're the voice. That reaction of Carreno Busta when he loses a point reminded me of that famous speech that Roger Federer gave at the university, where he talked about he won 80% of his matches, but he only won 54% of his points. You just have to let it wash away and move forward instantaneously. It's a skill.
It's a skill in resilience.
Wish I had it.
You don't win them all.
Got to look forward.
You got to win the ones that count, though, David.
Yeah.
But to me, you know, it does seem like Alex Shevchenko's biggest issue in this match, and it was confirmed really by the bench there, was he's concerned about his serve, and it hasn't been strong enough in this match to really put him in a more commanding position or more equal position. Just been a little bit down, particularly the second serve.
And like he is here, always behind on the count.
And it just allows Pablo Carreno Busta, a player of his level, he senses the weakness, the underlying weakness, and he attacks it there. You saw it as a case in point on that first backhand return of serve. Down the line, attacked it, set up the rest of the point for an easy put away.
It's like the boxer in the ring when you know that you're behind. You've got to start to do things that take you out of the comfort zone, put a lot of extra pressure on. Break points again. And he's just pouncing now. Carreno Busta inside of the finish line.
Team Spain leads 5 games to 1.
You know, what is interesting for me, normally when there's someone struggling with their serve, you'd like to maybe see them put a little bit more spin or maybe take off pace and get a heavy second serve in to get that first serve percentage up, but he's just trying to hit it flatter and harder, which is, I feel like, the opposite way to go when you're struggling with some confidence and especially that first serve percentage.
Serving for the opening point here for Team Spain.
15 love.
Yeah, it's happened fast, hasn't it, at the back end of this match. Probably also a sign that when you're going against a high-quality player, they know how to maintain their level for a longer period of time.
Very low.
And for both these players, it's not going to get any easier in their second encounter because Stefanos Tsitsipas is the singles player for Greece.
Well, we'll be looking for some expertise from Mark Philippoussis on that one.
Well, he's already told us what he likes to drink, and I dare say the souvlaki. That's why he goes with the Greek team to New Year's Eve every year. He doesn't go out with us. He just goes and hangs with his...
He gets a better offer,
I think so.
Let me tell you something. I have yet to make New Year's Eve for the last 10 years, guys. So I don't know what stories you've heard, but that's not exactly true.
You can come in with Fitzy and I and watch the 9 o'clock fireworks, Mark.
I'm in, guys. That sounds like my kind of night right there.
Well, that was an impressive performance. Pablo Carreno Busta, 6-2, 6-1, just over the hour, and gets Team Spain off to the best possible start, the United Cup. He'll be buoyed by that. It was impressive. Some issues on the serve from his opponent of Kazakhstan, Alexander Shevchenko, but there's a pep in the step of Pablo Carreno Busta.
Well, I think Shevchenko showed us some good stuff, but it was intermittent, wasn't it? And at the end, he did drop off. His level dropped off. And Carreno Busta, as great players do, they maintain their level for longer.